Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm just going to go through. I've got a handful of sketches stuffed into this sketch that I've got loaded up here. I'm going to show them to you one by one, tell you quick what I like about them, and then we will move into someone else's stream next. This is the first sketch I had chosen to share tonight. This is my sketch Dragonfly. I think I did it, I don't know, 8 or 9 months ago, right when we first got the square canvases. I just really like this one and I'm proud of it because there was no reference, it's just from my head, and I kind of like the background behind the dragonfly. I like the wings. It's one of my favorite sketches. This next one here, All Through the Night, is one of my favorite abstracts I've done. I like the colors and I just like the textures, especially full screen. I really like the effects that I randomly came up with here. This one is called Observation Deck. I did this from a reference I found online. I like the textures on the telescope and just like how it came out. For the textures on the background of the telescope itself, I used Daniel the Contraptionist's pitted metal tutorial. Another favorite of mine, as much as I hate drawing hands, I was happy with how this one came out. It's got the two hands on the figure in front and then all the hands in the little background sun shape. And I just like the colors. It's another album cover from a band called De Wolf. The album is called Orchards Lupine. This is a much older sketch of mine. This is an album cover to the album In Rock We Trust by YNT. I just like the shine I got on the robot's body, and I really like the cracks in the rock background, the green background. This is one of the more recent sketches I've chosen to share tonight. The sketch is called Curiosity, and what I love about this one is that this one is just entirely from my head, no reference, and I kind of like the idea. I like the lighting on it, and just like how it came out. I usually struggle working without a reference. And that is everything that I had picked to share. I can easily, if we have time later, go back through save slots and pull stuff up, but I just wanted to get things started, and then I can pass it off to whoever wants to go next, who wants to start up a stream. I think the votes say it's going to be Bunny.
Yes, I have got about 11 pictures to show because, I've got too many and I want to show them all. Okay, well, this one's a stupid one, but I want to start off with a stupid one, and this is an old sketch. This one was for the hybrid challenge, well, competition rather. And so I just made like 21 or so weird characters. Yeah, there's like heaps of different ones. There's like a cat octopus, there's like a hot dog, there's like a camel owl, there's like a shark giraffe, and I'm holding a lamb, which is like a lamb and a lion, because it's so cute. I don't know. To be honest, I just wanted to fill the page and pretty much just made everything up on the spot. It was good. Okay, this one's probably one of my favourites because it was really fun to do. Basically, I was inspired by a conversation PK, Batman, and Faye by McKay, and I were talking about random stuff and ended up about a David Bowie in having a high tea, listening to David Bowie at an erupting volcano, and that's pretty much what I envisioned, and it turned out good. I also have a video of me drawing it as well, so I'll spam it later on because it's quite fun, especially when there's David Bowie and Queen playing in the background while I'm drawing. This one is basically a redo of one of my Microsoft Paint drawings. So there was a challenge, I can't remember what it was, but to make a title for a movie or something. So I basically used that, and instead of having like Mega Shark and Mega Shark and Giant Octopus, whatever, that movie, it's crap. So I just basically based it off that and what happens if they were, you know, majestic and regal. So I just went from there. I do believe I challenge you to a duel. Indeed. Well, we all know what this one is. It's one of my favourite sketches, I think. Just all the detail I put into it, and I have no idea why. But I first got the idea of when I was drawing on my phone randomly, and I just drew like the semicircle shape, and I thought, well, that'd be a cool shape for a tree. So I kind of made it like a symmetrical thing out of vector and did all the bark and put me on it, just sitting there chilling in Wonderland. So I don't know, it just turned out really well. I'm quite happy with that. Well, this one, don't ask me why. I just don't even know where I got the idea from. I wanted to draw a zebra basically, and it had a really odd looking face, so from there I decided to put all these weird little patterns in his stripes. There's actually, if you look closely, there's a gun, there's a devil, and I kind of mixed it in with Beck's song Devil's Haircut, because there's scissors over the top of him and it has In My Mind underneath the devil. I don't know, not very creative. Anyway, there's eyes, and there's like little demons, there's an angel wings and a devil tail. Yeah, there's like heaps of little random shapes in there, which I kind of like. And obviously there's a tiny little weird zebra growing out of its back. So, yeah, weird. There was also, he's got hands on his feet for some reason. I think it was some weird challenge, perhaps. I don't really remember, but I don't know, giving it human hands was quite funny at the time. And also he's holding a cappuccino, and it just reminded me of like, what's his name? The movie with Will Ferrell in it, and he's the race car driver. No idea why, I can't remember it right now. But anyway, it says, "You spilled my macchiato!" This one is just, I really like the colours of this one. Basically, this is me and James, my boyfriend, and my cat Charlie. Basically, I was down in the laundry hanging washing with James, and basically he said, oh, well, basically we can hear Charlie upstairs running around the house crying, going, "Where's my mom?" Obviously in a cat voice, though. Meow, meow, meow. So basically James is like, "Shut up, Charlie, help us with your stick arms." And so I just laughed and thought that'd be really great to draw. And so I did. And that's what I drew, and Charlie with her stick arms. This one is Daydreaming. I don't know, I was in the mood to draw, didn't know what to draw exactly, so I randomly drew some shapes in vector, so just in silhouettes how I draw. So I just didn't really know what to draw, so I just drew a couple of shapes, and when I found the right shape that I wanted to use, I just went from there. So yeah, I really like how it turned out, of her pose and how she's just, you know, daydreaming and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm really happy with that one. Okay, so this one's a 2-in-1 because I like them both. The Signs is basically just a little mini-series thing that I'm doing at the moment with just a little horned creature. And I just thought that, I don't know, I randomly just came across this character and I really like his, the horns coming out the sides of his cheeks. And the colours of him. And basically he's just trying to find something, and I'm trying to keep it secret till the end, but I don't know, it might change. I don't really know. But the sign, it has little symbols on there. No one knows what it is, but it's what he's looking for, so it might not be what you're expecting anyway, but yeah, it's quite cool. So I used the square canvas, and I've just used them, I've did it all on the iPhone 5. I don't know, I really like drawing on the iPhone 5. It's like small, because I've got little boy hands, and I just really like how fast it is. So I'm quite a fast drawer, and so I get quite impatient if I'm taking too much time. But each sketch, I think these ones took over 3 hours, but I did spread it out over a couple of, maybe a week, because I wasn't really in the mood to draw at the time, but I just wanted to get it done, as you can tell by all the little dot details and everything in there. But yeah, I really like these ones. And finally we have Bonbon. There's just something about this picture that he looks quite sad, and there's just something about that. He is in a deep thought by the looks, and I just don't know what he's thinking, and I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but there's just something about it that that intrigued me, I guess. But yeah, it was for the fast compo, and it was quite good. Like I draw quite quick, so it was quite not really a challenge for me, but I just wanted to see how quick I can draw it, and it came out quite good, and I'm really happy with it, and I think a lot of other people agree that it's quite good. So everyone, like, there's been a lot of different styles that people have inspired as well, so I like it. Bonbon, this picture took about 28 minutes, which I think there was a 35-minute deadline or something. So yeah.
My cover letter wasn't as cool as Nick's, but I had to make one. I was so jealous. So I started with like an older one that I have done. It was some fan art for a video game that I like to nerd out to. I don't exactly remember how long I put in on this, but it was a while with lots of references, and I definitely, probably one of my earlier paintings that I put a lot of time into. A lot of layers, a lot of little details. I really enjoyed getting into this one. I love doing feather work on birds. I hate birds normally, but I love drawing them for some reason. This was for League of Legends, the video game, based on a character that they have called Swain. It was my twisted take on it. He is a crow man, so I turned him into an owl man. In one of his modes, he turns into a giant bird man, so that is the owl man standing kind of behind him, his other form that he changes into. I had a lot of fun doing the drapery. It's probably when I first started getting into extensive drapery, even without a reference, being able to get in there and make the fabric flow. I'm sure if you spread out his crazy cloak, it probably covers way too much area to actually be feasible as a cloak. Yeah, Swain was my character for a while. I did play League of Legends for quite some time, and I still miss it every now and then. I put it up on the Riot boards when I first got done with it and tried to get some attention to it, but nothing really came of it. If you think you could have better luck with it, by all means, feel free. For those of you who have played League of Legends, I actually saw a band the other night called Area of Effect, and they did several rap songs that were all about League of Legends. It was pretty priceless in the nerd ratings there. This is one of the paintings that I did more recently that I feel like I tried to approach in a different way. Part of it, the underlayer, is completely done in black and gray, and then I went through on a color layer to add all of the color effects in. This one was inspired by a song line that said, "Ballerinas have fins that you never will find." And I have always just really liked it. Ballet is a beautiful thing, and to watch them dance around on stage, I am not the most graceful of creature. I am prone to falling pretty easy while just trying to walk. I was trying to bring a depth into my drawings by addressing the background, foreground, middle ground, start to really draw people in and kind of make them feel like they're in the scene as much as possible. I may be able to draw gracefully, but I can definitely tell you I am not a graceful woman. It is Red Rum, actually. When I was in high school, I was a pretty big Tori Amos fan. Like most high school girls my age, not currently, apparently. This is another one that's a little bit older of mine, but I really had fun doing all the crazy tentacles. And for some reason, I really like how the lighting came out on the skull and how it morphs down into the texture of the octopus. Obviously, anyone who kind of knows me knows how much I love the cephalopods, so they've always been a reoccurring theme in my work, deep sea creatures that I love to look at. I've always been kind of mesmerized by how intelligent cephalopod creatures are and their ability to disguise themselves. A lot of like videos of octopus, you think you're passing them and they're just a rock, and then they take off and totally transform color and texture all over their body. It's just amazing to me. For the next couple of two, I actually wanted to do some stuff that was non-SC related just a little. I think my first love was graphite drawing as a kid. I would always just get into pencil sketches and take them crazy places, and it's probably where I realized how much I really liked to draw. And until I got into doing more color things, I was probably junior in high school the first time I started getting into extensive color work in my art. Yeah, I started it as a doodle. Someone had asked me to do a tree to put on their back, and I kind of took a crazy take on it. They thought it was too extravagant for them, but I always kept it as one of probably my favorite tree sketches I just kind of did. And I finally did actually get to put it on someone eventually. It took me a while. This is a watercolor I did for a charity event where we went to a building and there were several artists and we painted for 24 hours straight, and while we were painting, people were able to come in and out of the building and kind of watch us what we were doing, and at the end it was an auction for all of the art that the artist had done during the 24 hours that we were painting. I was able to finish this in a set of 3 small pond creatures to go with her little feet dangling in the water, and I was happy. I actually was probably one of the highest grossing artists there at the charity night, which felt awesome because there was a lot of really great artists that were there. Yeah, I did this one, and then I did a little turtle, a little tadpole, and I don't even remember what the last one was. I'm a really big fan of doing weird art events. If anybody is in the Indiana area, I used to do an art event out there called Art versus Art, which is a really fun event to get involved in if you wanted to look into that. This is another one that was inspired by a song. It's in the description if you ever look at this drawing. It was based on an Iron and Wine song called Jezebel, which is actually based on the historical character of Jezebel. Even though I wasn't going from the historical aspect when I drew this, this was more just what the song came to me as, what I had pictured when listening to the song, I guess. It was my first time doing a close-up portrait after I'd start really pushing myself to get in there and get the detail and different lighting and color lighting, having two light sources so that it has that more realistic lighting. It was a really fun piece to do. This will be the last piece I show if Nova wants to go. I was trying to do a kind of rush job for her. Hope you all enjoyed. We can all head over to Nova's screen. Thank you, everyone.
Hello. Can you all hear me? I think I'm on full screen. Am I on full screen? Say yes, or nod your head twice.
Okay, so let's see where we're gonna start with this.
Okay, pretty much this is, One Piece, from my favorite manga. It's a Japanese comic book, and it's awesome! You really need to read it. So this is a little tribute to it. Luffy's brother is Ace, and this is Luffy, actually. This is in his Strong World outfit. It's a movie, and it's really awesome. This one, I like to do a lot of concept art. I like to make it look like, the subject in the picture was randomly doing whatever they do, and, the artist just took a picture of whatever they were doing. So, I like to tell stories in that way.
So I really hope that you like it. Looking back on it, you can see the flaws in it, but whatever.
Like I said, I love concept art, and I love to, tell stories with them and
Whatnot. So can you see the little sprites in the background?
I made two of them sword fighting, if you look closely. Yeah, they're sword fighting, and they're, like, looking at them all weird, like, how dare you catch one of my friends, you bastard! So, yes. This is my recent sketch. I don't know, I just sort of liked it. Oh, by the way, thank you for all the hearts. PK, Wendy, Kimbo, oh, there was another one. Oh, crap. Coben. Yes, thank you for your hearts for this one. So yeah. Yes, this one is probably my favorite, just because it really tells a story, I suppose. And it's one of my favorite stories. I read it every year around Halloween. And I listen to the creepy soundtrack that comes with the audiobook. And actually I was listening to it when drawing this, so yeah. Listening to music really helps when you draw stuff, you know what I mean? Okay, well, yeah, I'll just show one more. Okay, I like this one because it looks like he's coming over the hill and he's like, "What now, bitches?" I don't know if I can say that. Cover your ears if you are below the age of 1.5.
Okay guys, that's pretty much it for my stuff. It was kind of a lame stream because it kept failing, and I'm really sorry about that. It really sucks. Yeah, I'm gonna, sign off as, the Powerpuff Girls. Okay, here we go. Let's go, ladies! This is Blossom! And this is Bubbles! And this is Buttercup, that chick mojo jojo. I'm gonna whoop your hiney.
Pick the next victim. Next victim, please. Enter the next victim.